Hello, and you're very welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod, episode 189. Sadia Cabeas in the house, and coming up later on in the show, regarded by some as the best player on the planet at the moment. Obviously, Sadia excluded from that competition. Sophie De Goede, the Canadian captain, off the back of that incredible historic Pack 4 victory. And then she conveniently flies back to help Saracens beat Gloucester-Hartpury in the English PWR. She's coming up a little bit later on. But first of all, let's check in then. Sadia, how are you?
I am good. Yeah, very good. Just been back at Loughborough. 2 wins on the bounce. 2 wins on the bounce. So can't complain. And we've got a extremely long weekend, so I'm doing good. Really
long weekend. Where are we at with the studies? You must be coming to sort of end of year assessments, exams, that kind of stuff.
Yes. Gave my final assessment in last week, and then I have one exam, so that's nice, which is in 2 weeks. So basically done, but not quite done.
A bit of revision to be done then for your exam.
Exactly. Yes, a little bit of revision.
So,
just a little bit.
Just a wee little bit. So less time to be baking what look like perfect sesame seed bagels.
No, there's always time. There's always time to be baking bagels.
They look sensational. You've got a real talent for this. You clearly love it.
I mean, I've been perfecting my craft in my bagels. Now it's just second nature,
Cabea Bakery. It's kind of got a little ring to it, that, isn't it? Not quite so successful as the cocktail making skills.
Yes. That was just a rookie error because my friend told me this was going to happen because it was fizzy tonic, but I just wanted to shake something. So I knew it was going to happen, but I just wanted to shake the shaker. And lo and behold, it exploded, So we live and we learn, although it didn't have to happen, but I wanted to shake the shaker.
Well, when you get a cocktail shaker in your hand, it's like the thing you want to do, isn't it? You just want to shake that thing.
Exactly.
I think John Mitchell is very, very pleased that you've perfected your craft in baking rather than cocktail making. So everybody's pleased with that one. Look, Sadia, as we said, it got Sophie De Goede coming up on the show in just a moment or two. We'll look back at the PWR results as well, including Loughborough's game, of course, tight victory over Ealing Trailfinders. We'll look ahead to this weekend's fixtures as well, because loads and loads of news. Sevens, South African Club Rugby, French Club Rugby, Fiji in action, Oceania Championships, etc., all with Rori. And we'll have a few shout-outs as well. But let's get into it. Sophie De Goede, Canada captain, Saracens back rower. I caught up with her a little bit earlier on. Absolute pleasure, as it always is, to chat to you. You described of late as probably the best player on the planet right now. I'm not going to embarrass you or them, but that by a man who knows his stuff, I can assure you. But Sophie De Goede is on the Women's Rugby Pod. Sophie, you must be just loving life right now, right?
Yeah, it's going well. Rugby's just, it feels like jumping from strength to strength, being in the Canadian team and the series team, both obviously having emphatic wins in the past 2 weeks. So it's just, I'm just having fun with the rugby. I'm really enjoying it.
And I do hope you've got a good Air Miles card, because you're clearly sort of clocking those up as well at the moment. You must be gold standard in every lounge possible around the world.
I did. I hit for Air Canada, we have like a status, and I hit the 35K, so now I get the premium boarding and stuff. It's pretty sweet. I feel like I'm up there now.
Here you are, absolute royalty, not just rugby royalty. Look, so we wanted to get you on because it was just Well, it was history, wasn't it? By beating,
Mhm.
well, let's concentrate on the New Zealand result, 1922 down in Christchurch.
Yeah.
First time that's ever happened. First time you beaten New Zealand. What were the emotions off the back of that game, firstly?
Just pure elation, really. Like, it was something that I think in previous times when we've talked about when we played New Zealand, we've talked a lot about history and what it would mean to beat them, et cetera, et cetera. And in that week, it felt more about like let's just do our job, and we're rolling really well the entire camp, and so it was like we don't need to do anything crazy. We just need to really stand up defensively, and just like not try to. We don't like let's not try to play out of our skins. Let's just go moment to moment. And so we didn't make it too big, but then obviously when the final whistle blows, you realize, or you start to realize, I guess, the impact of what you've just done. Hopefully over the long term. So. Yeah, it's definitely pretty special always to be part of a team that does something for the first time, and that will forever be in the history books. So yeah.
And you were the captain, so nothing particularly different in the week, but just trying to live in the moment in the game. But
Honestly, probably less in the difference was that we did less. We were less
really
less poring over details, more relaxed, more calm, more cool, and just like let ourselves go out there and play freely and bring more of the intensity on the defensive side, and put more of our focus there. And I think it made a big difference.
Well, it certainly did. Not many beat the Black Ferns down in New Zealand. And just a wider point, and you will priority boarding and getting your free champagne and a little hand towel and all the rest of it. Have you had a moment or two just to reflect and say, that's because we've beaten traditionally England, New Zealand, the top two, aren't they? And you're barking at the heels for many a year, yourselves and France. You've broken that sort of that bubble now of beating one of the top two. The significance of that, has that hit home at all?
I do think that it's really significant for our team, for on internally, like just for the belief within our team, just almost proving it to ourselves. And then I think externally, like nothing changes on the day-to-day when you go from fourth to second. Really, you continue to train the way you've always trained, but on a global stage, I think that being that high in the world rankings helps put Rugby Canada on the map and helps put our union on the map. And we're in a unique position compared to most countries where our women's program, and specifically, our women's programs, 7s and 15s, are the flagship programs of our union over our men's teams that are struggling a bit more right now. So I think it's really important for us to help keep Rugby Canada on the map on the global stage. And so I'm really proud of the ranking in that capacity and of the win in that capacity, because I think it helps keep us relevant and hopefully help to continue to grow our union over time.
How excited were Mum and Dad?
Very excited. It's funny because they come to so much, but they couldn't make it to that game. So I think
New Zealand's a stretch, even for some of the best supporting parents on the planet, right?
Exactly. So, but they're obviously watching and just over the moon. And I think they've maybe gotten even more messages than I have. They keep forwarding them to me. So no, it's pretty special for them, and I got to do something that neither of them have done. So I'll have that over them now.
Nice, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting together. And the other reason, apart from I know sort of Mum and Dad are a big part of your life and what have you, and obviously that they have their own sporting histories themselves, but also just to reflect when we're looking at WXV, which of course Canada are hosting WXV1, and the ramifications and the ripple effect of that Pac 4 result and moving to second in the world rankings has had back home in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of messages, and I know most of our team has, from people back home, just saying what an impact that it had, and we're starting to get shown more frequently on TSN, which is our sports partnership broadcaster back in Canada. So it's becoming more accessible, and so that'll, I think, really help to get the word out about WXV in Vancouver. And then I think last year we hosted Pac-4 in Ottawa, so more to like central eastern Canada, and that had a really good impact on rugby in the area in terms of like the visits we were able to do to the community, and we gave away a bunch of equipment and having free tickets for kids to come to the games and things like that. So I think it had a really positive impact on the rugby community in Ottawa, and I think we can do the same in Vancouver through WXV and through what is even a bigger tournament in terms of almost being a mini World Championships on a yearly basis through WXV. So it's really exciting for us to be able to host a tournament of that magnitude in Canada. And for me, it's really, Vancouver's super close to where I'm from. So on a personal note, I've gotten so many messages and notes from people that are planning on coming to WXV and are even more excited about it now that we've beaten New Zealand and have the opportunity to play the likes of England, France, and Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, if mum and dad don't make it there when it's just down the road, then there's going to be serious words.
Yeah.
No, Ottawa is a great place. Thoroughly enjoyed my time in Ottawa many years ago now. Stayed in this unbelievable hotel that looked like a Disney castle.
Jeez.
Is it Fort? Oh, there's a chain and they all have these fancy buildings. There you are.
Yeah.
That's the one.
What is the one in Ottawa? I can't remember. I think it might be like the Laurier or something. Anyways, yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, outstanding. But no, Vancouver's a very, very cool place. But you're battling for sports airtime, aren't you, in Vancouver? There's lots of sports going on, but very, very pleasing to hear that it's making an impression. And then you've been playing some sevens as well. What's the plan with moving into the Olympics? We've obviously got Madrid at the weekend. What's your personal plan, or if you're allowed to share with us, moving into the Olympics? What you're living your best life right now, Sophie De Goede.
Well, Olympic selection comes. We'll find out at some point in June. So,
I think we'll take that as read. Yep.
We'll see about.
I think you might get a ticket. Yeah, I think you might get a ticket. Don't worry.
I won't be able to go to Madrid, unfortunately, just with the Saracens schedule. But the series have been super flexible in terms of my national team commitments this year and releasing me or letting me leave for part of the season. So I've been really lucky to be able to balance it all, and hopefully it works out with the Olympics. But also hoping that it works out with series at the end of the season for us winning a premiership championship. So lots of stuff on the line coming up over the next few months, which is really exciting. God,
it really is. My word. People can turn their hand to 15s and 7s. Many have tried. Very few have mastered it. Maybe just you and Portia Woodman, in my eyes. Ellie Dun's going over. Meg Jones are going over from... Yeah. So what's that?
I was just saying she's probably got it. She's probably got a leg up over me right now. I'd say she's definitely the master.
Well, yeah, Portia Woodman Whitcliffe, we should say, shouldn't we? We will see. Yeah, very, very intriguing. Madrid. I know that. Yeah, Alex has. You wait for certain parts and come back. Let's get into your other sort of hat then. Saracens. Yeah. What a win at the weekend. I know you watched the game. Bench having just sort of come back and what have you, but 33-31 against an unbeaten champion winning side from last season is one hell of a result, Sophie. Yeah, it was huge, and it was really it was a great game to come back into with the team for McKinley Page and I to rejoin the team, and I guess Lottie as well from the US. So it was really easy to get up for that game. I think coming off the New Zealand win and the amount of travel that we did,
we were all pretty bagged, but then knowing that you have an unbeaten Gloucester to play on the weekend helped us kind of make the turnaround and transition back in smoothly. And yeah, I thought honestly really dominant, really strong first half performance from us, and then probably our discipline let us down a bit in the second half. But we managed to find a way to win, which is what great teams do and what Series seems to do on a time and time again. So
Saracens living on the edge of discipline? No, really. What with the likes of Marley Packer and Poppy Cleo? Come on, it's part of the DNA. What was the difference, Sophie? As you say, most of that game was sort of, yeah, you sat on the pine having a look. What was your analysis of why Saracens got over the line and had that 2-point difference?
Yeah, I think that Zoe Harrison's like open play kicking was really strong and helped us play in the right parts of the field. So that was good. And then I thought our line out execution was much better than it has been at points in the season. So that gave us a good platform to play off the back of. Same with the scrum was like our set piece from the forwards, and then probably our territory play from the backs helped us play in the right parts of the pitch and give us good platforms to launch off of.
Yeah, I it was great. It was just, especially that second half, is like a couple of heavyweight boxers just slugging each other. They'd score, you'd score, they'd score, you'd score.
Yeah.
Someone who's impressing me is Emma Taylor. I know she's a Canadian as well. She's playing some really good rugby, really unfussy stuff, and not grabbing any headlines, but she's just doing a lot of basic work. That's a statement win, Sophie. Does that hit home in the changing room afterwards, especially where we are in the season now, right? Because you secured a home semi-final. We know that nobody's ever won a semi-final away from home. But to beat Gloucester-Hartpury, you've gone through this season undefeated, that's a huge statement. Was that spoken about pre-post Tiki Tonga?
Yeah, certainly. But I think there's a lot of confidence in the group. As you said, there's a good number of players that are really hitting their stride right now, and having all the internationals back from Six Nations and Pac-4, like everyone's coming off some really emphatic wins, and we had the cup win, which gave the players that were here a lot of confidence. So I really feel like we're rolling right now. So for sure it was like there's a lot of excitement around beating an unbeaten team, but I feel like within our group there's also a lot of expectations that we have to play and perform to a certain standard. And so I also feel like there's just a calm confidence around like, yeah, we did our job this weekend, and we have hopefully 3 more big games to win a championship, and just make sure that we, I guess, continue on the legacy of this team.
Yeah, momentum's a really good thing, isn't it? Especially this time of year. So you got Loughborough Lightning, trip up to Loughborough Lightning this weekend, and then we suspect, Bristol will be the visitors for the semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knows? If I'm a betting man, which I'm not, that it's 2 home wins for the semi-final. So you're in a final against Gloucester-Hartpury. And then you got that psychological win over them. It's a really, really exciting time for you in a Sarri shirt right now as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's still chips to fall. As you said, likely Bristol in the semi, and then Gloucester, Exeter, and anything can happen. So I think we got to just take it one weekend at a time, make sure that we keep the performances rolling over against Loughborough this weekend, and then big one at home in the next weekend. Getting
that, and we'll just finish up here, so but getting that mental stuff right, and I love talking about the mental side of rugby because I think it's so huge, and it's not spoken about, and it's not probably dealt with as much as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Sarri don't like losing. You clearly like the environment. It's the second spell at the club now. How much did it hurt to have that crown taken off you? And by Gloucester-Hartpury, okay, it was a loss in the semis, wasn't it, last year? But just what is the drive, and how long has it been the drive? Was it spoken about beginning of the season, we want our crown back. It belongs here at the Stone Axe.
Yeah, I don't know if those exact words were said. I had to miss preseason because of being in Canada.
Oh, there we go. Glad I asked the question. No, but you know what I mean. Is it a, especially as the sort of season's gone on, you're moving towards the top.
Yeah, I think when I was here last time, we lost to Quins in the final for the first time. I think that was the first time that we hadn't won, and then since then we had a win, and then we lost to Gloucester last year and everything. So I think that the league is getting better, which is great. There's more parity across the league, but that only makes a group of competitive people like we have here that much hungrier to show that we can be the best. So it certainly means a lot to this group and to this club and organization to take home championships, and we know that. So that's the standard that we're aiming for, and that's what's been echoed throughout the entire season.
And if you've got the cheat code Sophie De Goede on your team, you're more likely to win these games. Sophie, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you just won Pack 4. You're coming back for PWR semi-finals. I suspect probably a final. Off the back of that, you go to Paris for Olympics, and then you're back home for literally at home in your hometown. A WXV. What a hugely exciting year ahead of you. We wish you all the very, very best, and yeah, always a pleasure to speak to you.
Thanks very much, Johnny. Appreciate it.
I'm Clea Maloney, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
She's impressive off the field as she is on it. She speaks so well, and someone that clearly is just a born leader. I mean, it's in the genes, mum and dad, sporting stars themselves, World Cups and all the rest of it. What does she like to play against, Sadia?
Yeah, I mean, she's one of those players where you have to literally expect the unexpected. She can run, she can kick, she can tackle. She's basically got it all. So as a defender, you're always on your toes. So she's literally probably the worst person to go up against in terms of a player with the full package. So yeah, a huge player.
And when you've got almost like a super strength, almost like a cheat code like her, is some of the analysis and what have you during the week, is that designed around her? Is she sort of pinpoint and say, well, almost man mark, or in these situations she does X, Y, and Z, or is it more just sort of general?
I mean, it depends from team to team. For us, it's more general, and especially because she's a player that does quite a lot. You can't really pinpoint one thing. You know, if it's like, I don't know, Marley Packer, who's always over the breakdowns, easier because, you know, that's her super strength. Whereas Sophie De Goede, she's got strengths all over the pitch. So yeah, it depends from team to team. But for us, we're more of a general focus on the general game.
But that was a historic victory over New Zealand for Canada. She spoke pretty passionate about that. Let's get into these PWR results then. I mean, obviously the headliners we spoke to. So I spoke to Sophie about that Saracens victory over Gloucester-Hartpury. Gloucester-Hartpury unbeaten so far in the season. 33-31 it ended up. Saracens securing a home semi-final. So that's locked in now. And I think we can pretty much see our semi-finals now, can't we? It's going to be Gloucester-Hartpury against Exeter and Saracens against Bristol Bears. But it was a 10-try thriller at the Stone Axe. And it was two heavyweights going at it, blow for blow. Much prefer to watch that than Usk and that other gypsy fella, let's be honest. Tries from Clifford. Camel got a couple. Poppy Cleo is in really great form. Zoe Harrison with 4 conversions. Georgia Brock for Gloucester-Hartpury. Neve Jones with a couple. Perry Beckett Singh with 3 conversions. That's this time of the season, Sadia, that's a proper statement victory, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, Gloucester-Hartpury unbeaten, been going so well all season. I think for me, looking at that game, I thought it'll be a tight game, but I'm calling Gloucester-Hartpury for that win just because I think they've had that unbeaten reputation. But with Sarries, they're a team you can never ever write off, and they're always known for clawing back victories, having these big names come out of the woodworks and pull the team together. But yeah, a huge statement for them to get a win over the league champions, top of the table right now, so close to the end of season. And not only would that be a huge boost for Sarries, but also be in back of the minds of Gloucester, Exeter, Bristol as well, going into the semis too, because I think it really does throw a spanner in the works to what people might have thought would happen.
Does anyone have a power game to them? Is that the difference when Saracens come to town?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they not just with their forwards, but with their backs too. But especially their forwards packs. They have Sophie De Goede, Marley Packer, Poppy Cleo, Georgia Evans, Donna Rose, because these big ball carriers who know how to get their head down and just make ground when it needs to happen. And with their backs, we've got Signe Gregson, Alejandro, these really powerful backs as well who can make it happen from tiny spaces because of how much power they have. So I think, yeah, especially as a team, they probably have the best power game out of anyone in the league. All the other teams have their own strengths, but I think when it comes to Sarries, that's what really sets them apart. And usually they step into their top gear in the second half of the game, where other teams are usually running out of a bit of energy. So I think that's what really sets them apart.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Signe Gregson. I think she's playing incredibly well at the moment. Just a classic 13. The angle she runs. We saw that in a white shirt, didn't we? The back end of the Six Nations. But also, yeah, here in the PWR, she's cutting some outstanding angles. The other player I thought was Emma Taylor. Doesn't get many of the headlines, but she's a big physical girl and just very, very happy to roll up the sleeves and get down and dirty all 80 minutes. I think she's playing well. And then, yeah, you come off the bench, you've got Anika Gondwe, and then you've got Bryony Field, who I think is a really impressive player, really good backup to May Campbell, who's an outstanding club player, is May Campbell. Does that give, say those semi-finals do play out the way that we think? Look, Bristol a third with a 4-point cushion. Then they have Sale away. Exeter have Leicester at home. You'd expect them both to get 5 points from those. So we think it's going to be Exeter travelling up to Queen's home. Does that give Exeter real hope? Because in terms of that power game, Exeter would be there or thereabouts. I'd like to think they would challenge it, Saracens, that power game. Does that give them real hope against Gloucester-Hartpury?
I would say yes. If Exeter hadn't had that huge score put on them, when was it? 2 games ago, against Sarries, which like Sarries are on top form right now. So any team coming up against them, would struggle. But Exeter being a top 4 side, to concede that many points, and watching it doesn't seem like they were on any much of a same page at this point in the season. Otherwise, I would say yes, it probably would give them some confidence going into that Gloucester game. But like I said, Gloucester is a really strong side. It was a really close win, and I still think they're on top form. So I think for Exeter, they'll have to really pull something out of the bag at this point in the season, with the performance that they've been putting out, to really give Gloucester a run for their money, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, agreed. They would caveat, and they did at the time. Their North Americans are away, and that is a bulk of their power, isn't it? The Rachel Johnsons, the Hope Rogers, the Tosies, the Menins, even Gabby Cantona. But yeah, and momentum as well, as we sort of move into talking a little bit about Bristol as well, who went up to the Stoop, 147-25, the game changer. Neumann with a couple of tries for Harlequins, Mullen, Cromack with a couple of penalties, Master Mulhern, Deb Willis. Talk about in form. Outstanding this season. Hat-trick for her. Bonner with a couple. One was a really nice little strike play. Burns as well. That's 5 in a row for the Bears, including a win over Saracens. How important is momentum?
Yeah, it's so important. I think, as a player, as a team, having momentum, you're able to build on it each week, and especially when you're coming into such a crucial stage, coming into the semis and the finals, like that momentum is probably, what changes the perception going into the games, not only for Bears, but also who they're playing. Playing a team knowing they're coming off the back of 5 really strong wins, they're going to be all guns blazing, they're going to be quite cohesive and on the same page. So I think it's really, really important. Not only for the team, but also for the opposition and how they're viewed, because that's always in the other team's mind.
Yeah, Bristol aren't going to get that home semi-final they're desperately craving, and Dave Ward knows the statistics behind it. 10 home wins in Premiership rugby history. Simple as that, but somebody's got to be a first, haven't they? Somebody's got to be first to put tonic in a cocktail shaker and shake it. These things do happen. Talk to us about your game at Vallis Way, Ealing Trailfinders, 18-19. Abby Dow with a try, standard. Laughlin, that was a great cross-field kick, wasn't it, from Ellie Green, who had a nice little game. Laura Key still doing it with a little try, and Treader with a couple of tries for you guys. Tighter than you would have hoped.
Yeah, definitely a lot more tighter than we would have hoped. Props to Ealing, they put up a really, really good defensive effort, and the tries they got were really well worked. That crossfield kick to Vicky Laughlin. But I think for Loughborough, a very, very frustrating day. I think we spent most of our time down in Ealing's 22 and just, especially in the second half, couldn't get over the try line. Obviously, we got 2 more tries. Oh, actually, we got 1 more try from about 15, 20 meters out, which was, a great great day for the forwards. But I think just frustration across the field, because we've been trying to play a lot more, especially from deep. And we were able to, play from deep up until the 22, and then not able to get over. But I mean, that's credit to Ealing's defensive effort, but also a few things that we can go back to the drawing board about. But always good to get the win, no matter what.
Yeah, of course. And sort of overall, look, you've got a fixture this weekend, haven't you? To last game, up against Saracens. We'll look at that in the sort of second half of the pod. But in terms of progression, there were sort of wholesale changes at the end of last season. Progression is on an upward curve, and I don't just mean it in terms of playing, but sort of everything around it and the man management. Are all the jigsaws in the right places?
Yeah, we've definitely seen a huge, positive change since last season. In terms of on pitch, off pitch, it's kind of all settling now, and we kind of knew we haven't. Basically, a whole new coaching change, lots of new players in, some players out, and we knew the season was going to be a building season. But the aim was to kind of finish the season better than we kind of left last season, and I think we've definitely done that. With getting that 5th place. Well, it's not official yet, but getting the 5th place finish for us, which was something we're really, really striving for, especially going into next season, trying to push for that top 4. But we always knew it was going to be a building phase, and to get to this point so far, I think it's been really positive.
Good. The only other result was Matty Woods, Welford Road. 21, Leicester scored, 2 Sales, 36. Second win for the Sharks. Cockburn and Amy Cockayne with a couple of tries, all from about 3.5 centimetres. For Sale, pairing with a try, Rigoni, Thorpe and Delaney. Good win for Sale, that. And actually, it's not been as successful, I think, Rachel Taylor would admit as they like to have been when we spoke, didn't we, early in the season? We spoke about your friend Miranda Talling, and we spoke about he likes Rigoni. I don't think it's been a season that they will remember, but nice to finish with a little sort of kicker like that.
Yeah, I think for Sale, it's not been their best season. And to finish on a win and win too, I think it's something they'll be very, very happy with. And I saw the celebrations and stuff on PWR on the socials, and they all seem very happy with it too. So yeah, I mean, to finish the season on a high after a not so successful season for them, I think is really positive.
It is indeed. Just to remind you, Bristol third with a 4-point cushion. Now Sale away and Exeter have Leicester at home. So expect them both to get 5 points there, all due respect. So Gloucester and Exeter and Saracens, Bristol predicted semi-finals. Full round of fixtures at the weekend. Super Saturday, everybody kicking off at the same time, 3 o'clock. We'll look at that after we caught up with all the news from around the world with Rori Taylorson.
Thank you, Johnny. Here's this week's news from me, Rori Taylorson. The Pacific Four, with Canada already confirmed winners, was completed at the weekend. The O'Reilly Cup was fought out between New Zealand and Australia. 67-19 was the final score, which confirmed what we thought already. USA qualified for the 2025 World Cup. Also qualified for the World Cup is Japan. The Asia Championships, which is being played in Hong Kong, has been played in 2 tiers as pathways to the WXV tournaments. Hong Kong were beaten by Japan 12-29 earlier in the week and went on to beat Kazakhstan with a huge 64-0 scoreline. So Japan are not only heading to the World Cup, but WXV 2 as well in Cape Town. The Oceania Women's Rugby Championships 2024 kicked off at Sunnybank Rugby Club in Australia. Sadly, Papua New Guinea against Samoa was cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. In the other game, Fiji dominated Tonga, winning 29-3. This Wednesday, Fiji face Papua New Guinea and Samoa and Tonga go head-to-head. On to club news and South Africa. Round 7 of the Women's Premier Division. Free State lost to the Sharks, 17 points to 34. The leaders, the Bulls Daisies, travelled to Western Province and suffered their first defeat of the campaign, 22 points to 10. The Golden Lions put up a good fight but lost, 24-38 to the Border Ladies, and EP Queens went down, 49-0 at Boland Dames. So Bulls Daisies remain top, but only 1 point difference with Boland hot on their heels. Western Province and Border Ladies make it up to the top 4. This week, Western Province travel to EP Queens, Border host Free State, and Sharks versus Boland. The top French league, the Elite A Féminine, is in its playoff stages. Pool 1, Stade Bordelais, Montpellier, ASA Rogmana and Toulouse all qualified. From Pool B, it was Lyon, Blagnac, Grenoble and Lille. Moving into semi-finals weekend after next. Stade Bordelais, after beating Lyon 46-13, they will play Blagnac, who got past Montpellier 24-15. Big result there. In the other half of the draw, Rogmana will face Toulouse after overcoming Grenoble and Lille. Final round of the HSBC World Sevens is in Madrid this weekend. This inaugural Grand Final weekend and a promotion and relegation playoff events will see the best 32 men's and women's 7 teams in the world battling out over 3 days. That's all. I'll be back next week with more global news. Rori Taylorson signing off.
Hi, I'm Bill Beaumont, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Thank you very much, Rory. Loads and loads of news in the air. Yeah, huge congratulations to Japan. I know they've been being helped by sort of overseas coaches and what have you, but that's good for them. And we want rugby strong in that part of the world, don't we, Sadia? You know, they've hosted a Men's World Cup. I think they saw the benefit of rugby and the fans got fully involved. It's really important that Japan continue to progress, and then the World Cup is only a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think, we've seen it with with WXV and like how important it is to have, rugby, all around the world, and that being put on a stage, and having different countries being able to show their skills and their different ways of playing. So I think super important for that to keep going.
And just off the back of that, and I know there were some issues, and I know there's some ironing out to do in terms of qualification, more towards sort of 2 and 3, and who gets into 3. But how cool is it? WXV, literally countries all over the world scrapping to be in this international annual tournament. It is brilliant. It's a complete game changer.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I think obviously this year, just gone, being the first of its kind, I think it's kind of just sinking in like what the caliber of a tournament that it actually is. Having all these games, all these countries being able to play at one time in the year, and everyone to kind of see the different levels that they're on, and new competition, new rivalries being made. It's great, and it's only going to better the women's game in general, but also for fans to see, for people in their own countries to see their teams playing and it being put on a stage is also so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up WXV. I think the more it sort of continues, it'll just be the envy of the men's game. This weekend, then, a full round of fixtures in the PWR, all 3:00 kickoffs. Exeter against Leicester, Harlequins, Ealing Trailfinders, Loughborough host Saracens, and Bristol are off to Sale. Exeter, Leicester. I mean, we got our top 4 now. Where are we now? Are we polishing? So you're playing your full strength team to get them in the rhythm, continue that momentum of performance and result and whatever to go into those semi-finals, or are we? It's a long season. Let's have a rest, or is that negated because you had that huge rest over the Six Nations, or some people did?
I think now, especially with the way the league's going and coming into the last game, I think probably it'd be more about getting that consistency going into the last couple of games. I think we've seen it in previous seasons where you put maybe not so much your full strength team out to kind of rest those key players. But I do think it's really important, and I think we're kind of seeing it, how it's so important to get that cohesion going into the last couple of games. So I think we're going to see full strength teams out in the last, for this weekend, going into the semis and the finals, especially from those top 4 teams. So that's kind of what I'm expecting as a player.
So then, what are we expecting between Exeter and Leicester? For them, it's a really important game for Susie and Steve Salvin down there at Exeter. As you say, blown away by Saracens. Had a little break last week on the bye week, but they want to get their North Americans back in and start playing some proper rugby. And if they don't put a decent score on Leicester, I think they'll see that as a poor performance.
Yeah, I think it's for them. It's definitely a chance to kind of go back out, get that cohesion back, put their full strength team back. Obviously, their Americans being back in the side, and probably put onto the pitch what they've been training for the past week with their having a bye week last week. So yeah, I'm expecting a big score and kind of a no mercy approach from Exeter.
Ealing Trailfinders against Harlequins. They've been the surprise package, haven't they? Ealing Trailfinders will certainly, you think, sort of batted well above their average this season. That'll be tight against Harlequins, who, I'm not sure what's going on there, but things clearly aren't happy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a tight game. Obviously coming off the back of, just a tight loss last week against us, against Loughborough Lightning. I think Ealing, they've always been a team that have always pulled something out of the bag. They've got huge players like Abby Dow on their team, Ricky Laughlin also doing really well in that backfield. They have players that can make things happen. and obviously Quins, they've had an up and down season this year as well. Like you said, not things that really seem to be clicking there with them, and obviously having lost Ellie Kildown this week to the Sevens. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ealing are able to clinch that win.
How do you prepare for Saracens? We spoke earlier in the pod about their power. How are you preparing for Saracens?
Yeah, I think a lot of it would be a mindset thing for us. Obviously, it's the last game of the season. We know Saris are going to be going into the semis, and I think for us it'd be easy to kind of cruise through the game, but that's not how we want to finish the season at all. Especially going into next season, wanting to be able to compete with those top four sides. I think a lot of it is a mentality to just, prepare for battle, go into that final, come a lot from our defense. I think our defense has been pretty good this season, but being able to front up against those big ball carriers and be able to turn that defensive picture into attack. But I think, there'll be a lot of focus this week on our mindset in defense and how we kind of get that dog mentality going into the weekend.
Bristol's trip up to Sale, not the easiest place to go and play, and a little sting in the tail with Sale winning last weekend. Where do you see that one going?
I think it'll be a Bristol win, but it's never it's never the nicest to play Sale away. Go into their home pitch. They always have a good fan base there, and it's also, apologies to Sale, not the nicest pitch to play on in the world. But I think Bristol, they've been going really well this season. They're a very strong side. They're an outfit that always know what they're doing, on the same page. And that could be argued to say it's very easy to defend, but they always manage to pull it off. So I think, I'm looking at a Bristol win, but I think Sale, off the back of a good win last week, will be raring to go, and similar to Loughborough, not willing to finish the season, just rolling over.
Yeah, there's a motivation, isn't it, for someone to go and get a strawberry daiquiri in hand with a little win and a little flourish at the end of the season. It makes that break and getting back into pre-season off the back of a break much easier, doesn't it? So there we are. There are the fixtures. Let's get your predictions then, Sadia. Exeter Leicester.
Exeter win.
Exeter win. Harlequins Ealing.
I'm going to go for Ealing win.
ET win, yep. Loughborough Lightning, Saracens. You're going Loughborough.
Going to have to go Loughborough, of course.
Oh, the Saracens. Away win for me. Sale Bristol. Away win?
Yeah.
There we are. We are confirmed. Well, that's about it, Sadia, for another week. Great chatting with you. A couple of little shout-outs. Is it a newsy type shout-outs? Vicky McQueen is parting company with Leicester. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, if I'm completely honest. There's a certain convenience there. It's very, very local and done a bit of coaching and whatever. But she's leaving Leicester at the end of this season. So they'll be looking for a replacement.
And congratulations to Ellie Kildown, winning the Six Nations Player of the Tournament.
When you're playing with her, and being as seven as you are, do you just go, where are you going? That's not in the plan. And I like it, but you make my job a hell of a lot more harder.
Definitely. Definitely. But, Ellie Kildown does what Ellie Kildown does. And clearly it works for her.
It does indeed. Big shout out to Emily Scott as well. Great servant to the quarters. Emily Scott has been. She's now the most capped Harlequins woman of all time. She picked that up against you guys, Loughborough Lightning, overtaking Chloe Edwards, who presented Emily with a commemorative jersey. That was a nice little moment as well. A legend retires.
Yes, Rachel Burford announcing her retirement at the end of the season after stellar career, 84 England caps, 4 World Cups, winning in 2014, formed one of, if not the best, midfield partnerships with Emily Scarrett, 2x 7 World Cups in 2013, countless Grand Slams and Six Nations titles, IRPA Special Merit Award, first female professional on the RPA's Player Board, 2014 England Player of the Year, the founder of Girls Rugby Club, head of women's rugby at the International Rugby Players Association, Saracens, Elsford, Warwick and Harlequins, where she won the 2021 Prem title as captain. So, you know, her career kind of speaks for itself there, really.
I mean, that's literally a 5 minute, and that's not all of it, is it? At her pomp with Emily Scarrett, absolute and utter joy to watch those two play together. Her passing of the ball was second to none. And I know, yeah, she gives a huge amount to the game. Of course, involved in this pod at the beginning, and a real shame she's not still involved. But yes, a complete and utter legend of the game. And yeah, from women's rugby, from rugby itself. Thank you, Berth, for all that you have done, and we look forward to seeing what the next chapter holds for you. Thank you to you as well, Sadia. Thank you to Sophie De Goede. Thank you to Tom in the background. And we'll be back next week with a bit of an international flavour. I think we're gonna check in with Fiji and see how they're doing. But Sadia, good luck with the bagels. You don't need much luck there. Good luck with the cocktail making. And indeed, good luck against Saracens.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
See you next week.